Hi, YouTube. Tamara here, and today I have a special guest for you. Let me introduce you to Mandi Lynn.
Hello.
Mandi started writing her first novel at age 13, and at the young age of 17, Essence hit the press. Since publishing her debut novel, Mandi has taught writing workshops, appeared on television, newspapers, and most importantly, graduated high school. While attending college, Mandi works part-time at a salon as a stylist and continues to write future novels. And her latest effort, I Am Mercy, just came out 2 weeks ago.
It's to be it comes out October 30th.
October 30th.
Yeah, we had to move around the date. Things got confused. Um some editor issues. But it's coming out eventually.
Hey, that's great. Well, it gives you more time to promote it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that means when this video is up, you guys will be getting the inside scoop. It's still won't be out yet. So that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about Essence and I Am Mercy?
Okay, so Essence is a young adult fantasy novel. It's kind of border on paranormal, but it's about a girl. She kind of moves to New Hampshire, and when she does, every time she goes into the forest, she can't control her body. It's almost like she's being possessed, and she fights this and fights this until eventually it kind of takes her human life away. And in the process of taking her human life away, she acts as a ghost watching her parents react to her death. And I Am Mercy, which is a companion novel, and it kind of uses the same physics, if you want to say that, as Essence, and it takes one of the side characters of Essence. It gives her her background, where she grew up during the bubonic plague in France, so we get to see a lot of that and how Essence was kind of created, basically.
I think I know which character that is. I started reading Essence last night. I'm maybe halfway through. But I remember there's a character that's wearing like very old and elaborate clothing.
Yep, you got her. Luna?
Yes, Luna. Ah.
Everyone,
Awesome.
whenever I read reviews online, they were like, I want more Luna. I'm like, well, you're just gonna have to wait for the next book.
That's awesome. I think I really enjoy companion pieces more than series nowadays. It's like a companion piece you can talk about and read about like an entirely different segment of the book, and you don't have to like really work on that old storyline. You can go somewhere totally different. Just have like a little taste of the first one.
And you don't have to worry about what order you read them in.
Mm, very true. So you started writing Essence at 13. Why did you decide that you wanted to write a book?
Well, it was funny because I actually used to hate reading before. I went to an elementary school where we were required to read a book every month and either take a test online or write a report about it. And I hated it. I couldn't stand it. And my friend was like, "Oh, read Twilight." So it was big at the time. New Moon was about to come out, and so I read Twilight, and I thought it was going to take me at least a month to read it. I read it in a few days, and from there I read more young adults because that's all it was. I had never discovered young adult novels. And
Hmm.
I don't know why, but after reading enough of them, I was like, I'm going to write a book. And that happened, and you don't want to read the first draft of Essence because it's awful, and it's come a very far way.
That's awesome. Like, it seems as though Twilight and Harry Potter are kind of the gateway drugs to reading for so many people.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. My only regret is that I haven't read Harry Potter yet, and so many people are like, what?
You haven't read Harry Potter?
Exactly. See? You had the exact reaction.
You need to. I think you'll like it.
Oh, I know I like it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
It is a commitment.
The
Those
books
books
just get larger and larger as you go.
progressively bigger, and there's what, 7 in the series. So I can understand why you would hold off, but you should definitely do it though.
Oh yeah, no, I need like a few weeks vacation to work on that.
Yeah. So let's see. So you were 13 and you discovered like that you liked young adult novels. But why writing? Are there writers in your family?
No, I don't know why. There's no one in my family. Like, I have, I think, an extended aunt who writes, but I probably see her about once a year around Christmas time, that sort of thing. Um, I don't know. I've always been a very creative person and a very stubborn person where if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And I think that's where the publishing came in hand because once I decided I was going to self-publish, that was it. End of story. I was going to do it.
That's awesome. It takes commitment, and it does take being stubborn. You have to just be like, I can do this, even though it feels like I can't right now. Even though everything's terrible, I can do this.
Being stubborn pays off.
Definitely. So, what was your typical day like while you were in high school and writing this book?
Oh, okay. So when I was in high school, I also went to a vocational high school, so it wasn't like typical anyways. I was in academics one week and my vocation the next week. So, and then I also worked when I got out of school. And I think what it was that I did, I just, oh God, how did I do that? I'm carried around um, everything. Like I had books on me all the time to make sure I took advantage of my time. I think I did most of my writing on the weekend, and whenever I did, I locked myself away to write. I was always very busy, and I'm still very busy. I accomplish more when I'm stressed, sadly enough, because if I have a lazy day, I don't do anything. But yeah, basically it was go to school, go to work right after, but I had like an hour in between, so I'd either get like writing done or homework done, and then I'd work until like 7 o'clock at night, come home, do more writing. That's when I did most of my writing when school and work were done, kind of right before bed, which isn't the best recommended thing because it causes your mind to start spinning and stories to start turning, and you want to rest, but you can't because your mind is everywhere. But if that's the only option you have, it's kind of what you got to work with.
So, so once Essence was finished, once you'd finished that first draft, how did you go about kind of figuring out what to do with it?
Um, Initially, when I finished the first draft, I actually there is a publishing contest that I knew about. It's like Amazon's. It's some sort of publishing contest on Amazon, and it's once a year. I believe you have to submit it by like November or whatever. And I submitted it, and I was like, like I convinced myself I was gonna win this contest. I was so positive, and I think it was a month after I'd submitted it, I got a rejection letter. So I didn't even make it close. Like, it was bad. And I cried and I cried, and, it was a wake-up call. And I had to rewrite it, and I started submitting to agents, and every time they rejected me, I just made it better and better, and that's basically all it was. And then eventually when I knew my book was good, but people still weren't taking it, I was like, fine, I'll take it into my own hands, I'll self-publish it.
It's so great that self-publishing is such a way that people can access publishing that you can take away the gatekeepers. So how did you find like an editor and stuff like that and someone to design your cover, or did you do it yourself? Like
Both covers for Essence and I Am Mercy were designed by myself, and actually on both covers it is me on the cover. You can't notice it as much in I Am Mercy because I am wearing a hood, thank God, because I find it really awkward to be on my cover. But it looks really good still. It's just people are like, "Oh, is that you?" And I'm like, yeah." So I did that myself because I dabble a little bit in graphic design. Um, and for my editor, I had actually read a book. Let's see if I can get it out because I have it right underneath me. Self-printed right here. This is like a self-publishing Bible. It's by Catherine Ryan Howard, and she's self-published as well. And she basically takes you through all the steps. And in the back, she had resources, and one of them was for editors and stuff. And that's how I found my editor.
Awesome. So, when you think back, what do you think was your biggest mistake and your biggest achievement with Essence?
Ooh, okay. The mistake one I've been thinking about a lot. Because it's hard to say because I wouldn't call them mistakes so much as I should have done it differently. Like, I spent a lot of money on sending out advanced reader copies of my book, like physical copies of Essence before they went out. And they didn't have the copy edits on it. And I think at some point, like, people were reviewing it because it wasn't perfect or whatever, and there were grammar mistakes. So that's something I learned with I Am Mercy. I didn't send out the ARC copies of the book until the final edits were done. And I also only sent out ebooks instead of physical books, instead of spending like $100 on printing out books and then more money on shipping the books, especially if someone is in the UK. It cost me about $13 to ship a book, and that's the cost of a book, plus the actual cost to print the book, never mind the shipping. So I'd probably say that's the biggest mistake, if you want to call it that. It's more just tweaking the process of doing things. And there's a lot of them, but I would probably say is the biggest one. Achievement-wise, I've done a pretty decent job, I think, of physically getting out there in the world. I've been on the newspaper a lot, like locally, which is really awesome. My school set up an interview for the local newspaper. I ended up front page on 4 different newspapers. I've done some really awesome signings. I've done a signing at Barnes & Noble that I had a blast with other authors, so it was super successful. And hopefully my book launch for I Am Mercy is going to be super successful, because the book launch for Essence, we sold, I think, 60 books in one day, which is amazing. And then for I Am Mercy, now it's going to hopefully be even bigger. So I have my fingers crossed.
Fantastic. That's really awesome. That's really great that you have support in your town. I think that's really important.
Oh my God, it's so great.
So, how was writing I Am Mercy different from Essence?
I think just writing-wise, it's a lot more mature. Like, it takes place during the Black Plague. It's not going to be all happy. And I mean, not that Essence was a happy book. It wasn't exactly a lift-me-up book. I always say my writing is like my diary, so whenever I write, it's probably because I'm not the happiest person. I'm a little upset. I need to vent, and it translates through writing. I know I Am Mercy I wrote when I probably wasn't in the best place in life, but it was like my little pacifier, if you want to call it that. It helped me a lot, and I know, for me personally, I know exactly some scenes in the books that correlate to my life. Maybe, I don't think most people will notice it, but people who are close to me probably will. And yeah, it's just, I've been told at least, it's a lot better written by the people who have read it so far. And I would like to hope so, seeing as I'm now writing it and I wrote it when I was 18, and before Essence was published and written basically when I was 16. So I had 2 years to improve, so.
Well, in writing, it's like a lifetime process of improvement.
Oh, yeah. You're only supposed to get better.
Fingers crossed. So I found you through YouTube, your YouTube channel, which I will link all of your particulars in the downstairs so people can find you and check you out. But when I was looking at and other people who were talking about like NaNoWriMo and writing in general last year, I found your channel, and you have a lot of interesting tips and things about writing and self-publishing. Do you think that through YouTube you've been able to kind of expand your readership?
Oh my God, yes. That's when people ask about marketing, that's where I go to. I'm like, that's how I market my book, is my YouTube channel. Originally that is why I started it, but I wouldn't say that's why I continue it now, because marketing, it isn't supposed to be about, when you write a book, you're not supposed to do it to make money, but it would be nice, of course. But I love doing the YouTube channel now. I love how now I have interactions, and without my YouTube channel, I don't think I'd know how to market my book, because I have a Facebook, I have a Twitter. My Twitter following isn't that great because I don't really use it, and you can only interact so much on that type of social media. And on YouTube, it's a whole nother different level. I can actually talk to the camera, and when people comment down below, I can comment back, and you can tell when they appreciate that, because they're not like, oh, she's not just this girl who posts videos, she actually sees our comments.
I think the interaction's important too. I try to interact on this channel because I like it when I go to someone else's channel and I comment and they write back. It's like a conversation then. And it's not just...
It makes it a community is what it is. It's so much better. Like, the BookTube community, it's just a big family. Everybody loves to talk to each other about books.
It's nice. It's in other communities, I think that people are harsher and a bit more judgmental.
Yeah.
But I've commented on kind of big YouTuber channels, and been slammed, and people have said really derogatory things, and I hadn't even said anything that was bad or or it was just like, I like this video, and they're like, oh, you should kill yourself. And I'm like, but why? But I haven't had that in BookTube.
Oh, no. It's just everybody wants you to comment, and even if you say something as simple as, I like this video, they'll always comment back. In a nice way, too.
Yeah, in a nice way. And that's really cool. I like that. So YouTube is your biggest marketing tool. Do you have a blog, or do you blog at all?
I have a website, and it's through WordPress, so WordPress technically is a blog. What I do is that I basically just kind of take the videos I film on YouTube and post it there. That's basically it. I've tried blogging. I'm not good at it. I don't know why. You'd think as a writer I'd be able to write a blog, but I just can't. I think I don't know how to talk about things. I'm better at just blabbing about things to the camera and editing my ranting out instead of just writing it down. I don't know why. I've tried it. It doesn't work for me. I can't even... I'm bad at following blogs, too. I wish I could. I know there are so many good ones out there. I just lack the ability, I guess.
Well, that's okay. You found what works for you, and I think that's the most important thing. There's really... I mean, why spend a lot of time trying to blog if that's not really something that works or that you enjoy? That'd be a waste of time.
Yeah.
So I remember from one of your videos, you said that you had transferred colleges and you're back home now, I think?
Yep. Right now I'm actually in my room in my parents' house.
So how has moving back home kind of changed things for you in your like day-to-day life and like your writing stuff?
It's so much better. When I lived in the dorms, I talked about it a little bit in that video, but I just wasn't happy. I was moving around in the dorms. I started off with a roommate, and we got along fine. We just kind of had different, lifestyles, that sort of thing. And I ended up moving into a single and got settled there, and I just couldn't get myself to get my head into the writing world when I was at college. I knew it was possible, but there was so much going on with my life that I was just too stressed to think about it, and I basically, when I was in college, didn't even want to put up with the writing anymore. It was really bad, and when I came home, things got a lot better really fast. I mean, it wasn't perfect. There was a huge transition with moving to a new school, especially since I only had the option of taking night classes since I had applied so late and made the decision to transfer so late. So this semester is actually my first semester back as a regular full-time student, and it's stressful, I'm not gonna lie, but I have actually had to make a very detailed schedule for myself, so I have time at the end of the day to kind of do social media stuff, do writing stuff, read, because I completely miss being able to read. But with a lot of careful timing, it is possible. But I'm so much happier here at home.
That's awesome. That's the important part.
Oh
Because,
yeah.
when you have all of these things happening, I remember with my freshman year of college and living in the dorms, I had friends in the dorms and everything, but I found it really hard because there was just so many people. And my dorm floor was co-ed, so that was a big change, in life. Just having like 15 guys around and like catching them walking from the shower in their towels and being like, oh, but trying not to be like that because I didn't want to be like that kind of prudish girl, but I really felt like that in my heart. and and oh, and I was an English education major at the time, and my dorm was engineering floor, and they just kind of put girls, like one girl was a social worker, like they just put.
Oh, they just had everybody in there.
And like I think that if they all would have been doing the same stuff that I was doing, it wouldn't have been as weird. I just always felt like why am I here?
I found that only the big, gigantic colleges room you according to your major. Otherwise, you're just strewn about everywhere, because that's what happened to me. I remember the girls' bathroom right across, like, the door. Here's the door to the girls' bathroom. Here's the door to a room where two guys live. And I remember getting out of the bathroom in a, like, towel, and the guys being like, "Hey, Mandy," I'm like, "Don't talk to me, don't talk to me. I'm just gonna go to my room."
Oh, that's embarrassing. I learned very well how to like dry really quickly and get dressed in the bathroom because there was just too many guys around, and I was self-conscious anyway. So like that was just it was just too much. And then having to wear like slippers to take a shower. Oh, man.
That was nice coming home not having to wear like flip-flops in the shower. I'm like, "Ooh, bare feet."
Yeah, right. I remember one time I didn't think about it and just went in like barefoot. I took a shower and like I don't know if it was a mental thing, but it felt like my feet were like so gross and itchy and just so yeah. I don't know if that was like a real thing or if it was just in my head because I've thought about how many people were standing there before me, but I didn't make that mistake again. So with I Am Mercy is out October 30th. What are you hoping that your readers will get from it?
Um, that's a good question. Hopefully, a good story. I poured myself into this book. Like, if I thought Essence was my heart and soul, that's what I Am Mercy is to me. So I hope they just kind of see it as something that makes them sit back and be like, wow, like, I like the books that kind of make you think about life and more observe it, and I hope I've captured that through Essence and hopefully captured it even more through I Am Mercy. I'm not so much about plot and everything like that. I like taking feelings and kind of observing them on a psychological level, if we want to say that. Or at least I try my best to do that. So hopefully that's what my readers take away. I know some here and there in reviews I've seen it, people are like, wow, this kind of makes you think, and those are my favorite types of books, so I hope that I can produce them myself.
Fantastic. Um, so, anyone who's watching this who is a new writer or even a teen writer and wants to be an author and wants to self-publish, what kind of advice would you give to them?
Uh, a few different. One is never give up, because if I gave up a long time ago, and I've thought about it many, many times, I would not be nearly as far as I am today. The second is write a lot. You don't need to write every day. People always say write every day. I don't write every day. That's not possible. It's just not logical. There isn't enough time in the day to write every day, but you want to write a lot. And the third is just educate yourself on the industry. People always ask, how do I self-publish? Well, you gotta know the traditionally published industry as well as the self-published industry, because believe it or not, they're very similar, and you kind of do want to try for the traditional route first, so you can humble yourself, as I call it. You need to get those rejection letters. You can't just avoid them for the rest of your life. You need to sit back and realize that not everybody's going to like your writing. And once you figure that out, then figure out how to self-publish a book. Figure out how you're supposed to market yourself, how you're supposed to connect with others. And, of course, find your little niche in the world. Find your fans.
Find your fans. I think I think that is a thing that is really hard to do.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But obviously it's feasible because people do it every day.
Oh, yeah. I
So
think the funniest part is that you don't realize how many self-published authors there are, but once you find one, you find them all. They kind of stick together in little groups. But it's great because if you do find one that you like, it's so easy to find another.
yeah, because I do know that some people have, I've even seen it in booktube where they've said, I want to read indie authors, but I don't know how to find them. I don't know where they are. But in my world, they're everywhere.
Oh yeah, I know like 10 personally, so I'm like, I don't know what everybody's talking about. They're everywhere.
They are everywhere. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention?
There is the trailer for Essence and for I Am Mercy. They're both kind of fun little booktube trailers that will hopefully get you pumped up to read it. And of course, there's the first 5 chapters of I Am Mercy available on my website. If you just kind of go in there, go under books, and click I Am Mercy, it'll be right there, and you can read it for free and hopefully add it on Goodreads as your to-read book.
Fantastic. Well, Mandi, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me. And I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. And you guys, I totally spaced out yesterday. I thought that the time zones had already changed. In Hawaii, there isn't, like, it just stays the same all the time. So, but for some reason, I thought that the East Coast had already changed, and I was like an hour late. I thought I was like early, and it was just a mess. But it's happened, and I'm very excited. And
I made up for it today by having my own technical difficulties and not being able to figure out how to work this thing.
But it all worked out, and I think that you have given our viewers some really good information and some things to think about. And I hope that they check out I Am Mercy when it comes out, and Essence, which is now available on Amazon and other places on the internet, I presume.
Amazon and all ebooks.
Excellent. So I am going to sign off now. And again, thank you all for coming and checking us out. I will have all of Mandi's pertinent links in the downstairs so you can go and explore and get to know her and say hi on our YouTube channels. So bye, everyone.
Bye.